Well, how the heck are you? Hi, guys and gals. How you doing? Happy Homebrew Wednesday. I think today's a Wednesday for once. A Wednesday? Wednesday? Some people say Wednesday. Some people say Wednesday. Anyway, hopefully this got out on a Wednesday. Cheers and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and all that great stuff. Got a couple things I'm going to do today. Sort of try. I have a beer I'm going to try. Talk about that in just a second because that's why I haven't got a beer yet. And I'll talk a little bit about this wine kit and some other stuff we've got going on back there. So, first, the beer. This beer is a 17 Black IPA. And if you might remember a while ago, I did a home brew review on this beer, the all-grain version. There was two beers there, one from two different home brewers, one each. And this came from JMCM LXX. So he got me my hands on those two beers, and I did the review quite a while ago. So now he's got in my hands a extract version of the same beer. Now I'm not going to be able to remember what those beers taste like, but if you want to watch the video, you can click down below, and there's a link down below for you to take a look at that video. You can skip through it if you want, just to get an idea. So this is the extract version of the 17 Black IPA, and I am dying for a beer. So let's give this a whirl. I swear by OxyClean to clean my glasses. Just saying. Okay. My beer glasses, not my spectacle glasses. Let's see how tight he's got this one. Come on, Jay. No, that wasn't too bad. Didn't have to use the teeth for that one. Oh, jeez. Okay, I'll put the ingredients either on the screen right now, or if I don't, because he's got them here. Let's read. Let that breathe for a minute. Let's read. Let's see. It says, Craig, hello again, sir. Here is the 17 Black IPA extract version for you to try. This is a Cooper's Dark Ale based kit with dry malt, extract, dextrose, and some steeping grains. In my opinion, this is a respectable version of the all grain you received a while back. I hope you feel the same. Well, I'm sure I will. Early on, this beer had a bitterness on the finish that was a bit annoying, but 4 weeks and beyond in the bottle, and this bitterness has settled out nicely. That just goes to show that beers need time in the bottle. Thinking of Jim Croce. If I could save time in a bottle. They need time in a bottle, and patience as a home brewer is a virtue. Cheers, JMCMLXX. Jay, thank you, my friend. I'm going to scan this. This is the ingredients and the instructions. I'll scan this and I'll put it on the screen right now. And if you want to pause the video, you can do that and do whatever you do to get your screen caps or whatever you want to do. Okay, so there it is. Now, let's get to the beer. You're going to have to pause this to read all of that, but that's fine. You can do that. Alrighty, guys. Let's go. Do the finger. Gotta do the finger. The finger twitch. I never knew I did that until somebody pointed it out. Alrighty. This is my first beer of the day. I quit drinking, actually, 24 hours ago. Okay. It smells... I don't remember what the other ones tasted like. It was a couple months ago. But boy, does it ever smell good. It just smells like an IPA. It's awesome. Definitely get those hops in there. Now, I was going to do this video as a Craig's Homebrew review, but since I already did the 17 IPA like that, I figured I'd do it like this. And this is a Homebrew Weekly, so more people will watch this and they'll go back and watch the other one. So it's a bit of a trick there. So let's give this a whirl. Oh, those hops. They smell awesome. Cheers, guys. 17. Oh, boy. I'm not going to rush this. I'm going to take my time. I don't know if I should say this. Beer porn? This is awesome. really. The carbonation, I'll start with the carbonation. The carbonation's spot on. It's perfect. It's got a nice little bit of a burn going down. Beautiful. If you didn't tell me this was an extract beer, my palate, I wouldn't be able to tell. So, you know, I do have taste buds. Don't think that I don't. But this is a very respectable beer. I think it is. I think he's right in his note here that this is definitely a viable beer. Certainly competition worthy. I would enter this in a competition. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's very dark. I can't see a thing through it, and it's been sitting, actually I can almost sort of see my lights up here. Just see them through that. So it's very dark, and it's been in my fridge for a while, so it's had a nice chance to clear. So I don't think I have a light. I can, oh, see, you guys can probably see that. I hope. All right, so that's the color. And let me see if I can give it a little bit more of a profile before we move on. I can definitely detect some bitterness there. Not much. Probably more than the last ones I did, because the last ones I did, I mentioned that there wasn't a lot of bitterness. I think this one has a little bit more. And that's probably due to the Cooper's beer kit that he used. The hops in there, you know, they may have a more of a bittering factor than the ones he used in the all grain version. So that's, let's, you know, chalk that up as having to do with that. Very nice. Delicious. And slightly sweet. More bitter than sweet, but not too bitter. And the hops come through. The flavor aroma hops are very prominent, but not too overpowering. It's fantastic. I mean, you can't complain about this beer. We'll let that warm up a little bit. That's awesome, Jay. Congratulations. No beer that he's ever sent me has been bad, or even close to bad. So that tells you something about his skills brewing. Thanks, Jay. You're awesome. Cheers. Okay, and cheers to 17 Brew Crew as well. Get back to that in just a bit. This came from this. This is a, I have to make sure I pronounce these things properly. Amarone. It's an Amarone red wine. I believe that's Italian. I'm not going to try and remember the entire Wikipedia article that I read before I turned on the camera, but if you want to read it yourself, I'll put a link down below. What this is that this was sent to me by a guy by the name of Anthony from the wonderful province of Ontario. Anthony, thank you so much. It took me a little while to get around to this. This kit, now I didn't brew it on camera because all it was, you know, a bladder, a big bladder of juice, just grape juice. You know, you pour it in, you add some stuff, you put your, you know, your bentonite in there, you pour the juice in, you add some, you know, some wood chips, some oak chips, and this one came with a bag of dried raisins, fresh, you know, fresh dried raisins, if that's not a conflict. So we put all that stuff in here, plus the package of yeast, and so far it hasn't. I did this morning, so far it hasn't started. So I put an extra heat belt on it. You can't see it, but it's around the back, but because it's quite cool down here, so I thought maybe I better get it started a little bit more. You don't brew these things at low temperatures like you do beer. So I got that on there, and you can see the edge of it there. Whoops, uh-oh. It's broken, actually, so I've got it sort of tied on. This is just an extra one I've got laying around. So, okay, so I did that, and this is a 6-week brew kit. Here are the instructions, and I guess in a week or so I'm going to be siphoning it to a carboy. And so the reason I didn't film this is because it was basically just lifting some 40-pound bag of wine must up into a fermenter. Actually, they actually did something cool with this. There was a little note inside. I didn't set up the camera because I thought I was going to be lifting this big, heavy thing up, pouring it in, but they actually split it into 2 bags, 2 bladders, so you could pick one up, pour it in, pick the other one up, pour it in. So it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, but unfortunately I didn't know that, so I didn't have the camera set up. But here are the, you know, here's what it comes in. There's one there. You can see some juice left over there. I didn't get it all out. I tried my best. But, and then there's the other one there. So that was much easier to do than it would have been if it was a big one big thing. I didn't know how I was going to do that. What I would have done, if it was one big one, in case you ever have an opportunity to make one of these, or you do one of those Festa brews or whatever they're called, you would put the fermenter on the ground, and you would pour half of it in from the bladder that it comes in, then take that, put it down, and then pull it up onto your bench, and then take it, now that it's not so heavy, and put the other half. Now, if you're a big burly guy, which I'm not, you could probably pour it all in and just go and lift it up on the bench. But I really feel like I want to be able to walk tomorrow, so I don't want to hurt my back. So I did it. I would have done it that way, but they split it up into 2, so that was perfect. Same idea actually, but they did it for you. So yeah. So in about a week, I guess I'll be siphoning this into, or racking it into a carboy, and then letting it sit for another period of time, and then you start adding your, I guess your sodium metabisulfite, and you degas it. So you stir it with one of those gadgets that I have around here somewhere that gets the gas out. I think one over there, I don't know if you can see it, but, and then you add the potassium sorbate, and then you put the little clearing agents in. I've got all that stuff right on top here, these little guys that you put in at the end to help to clear the wine. And so there's all that stuff there. So that's all sitting there waiting. So that's it. So it's very simple. Now, normally a wine like this is expensive to buy. I read that these Amarone wines can be expensive, and so to be able to, to make it like this is cool. Now, some people say, well, what's the sense in doing it if you're just pouring it in and adding your yeast? Well, it's cheaper. Okay. Now, I would imagine that the fellow that sent this to me probably paid. I don't know what he did pay because his price isn't there, but it probably wasn't cheap. It certainly wasn't a $60 wine kit. Probably more upwards toward $100 or more for this kit. So I really want to thank you, Anthony, for sending this to me, and plus the shipping, whatever that was, because the guy brought it to the door with a forklift. It wasn't a forklift, but it was what do you call it? A dolly. It was heavy. So I really appreciate this. It's awesome. And I got 25 liters out of it. I didn't add any water to it at all. So, and the starting gravity was a little bit lower than it said, but they probably that's just the ratio of, what they did with the juice. It's different every time. So it was a couple points lower than it was supposed to be. That's fine. So there's going to be a bit of a more volume there. And maybe it'll evaporate a little bit as it goes along. So once it's in the carboys and it's all stabilized, and I am going to bottle this wine. I'm not going to do what I normally do, lazy that I am, and drink it out of that, which works relatively well if you're drinking it fairly quickly, which with Christmas and everything we were. But normally I wouldn't recommend you leave it in the carboy like that if it's going to be any months. It does lose its flavor, and it kind of starts to, gets a little bit, it's not as nice. So being that this is a special thing, I am going to bottle this. Of course, it came with corks. Not quarks, but corks. And it came with labels and stuff like that. So I'll be bottling this. Maybe I'll give a couple bottles away, who knows. But I will be enjoying this myself. This is going to be an awesome wine. It's going to be a good quality wine. I tasted the juice. It's got dried raisins in it and the oak chips. I can't wait. So there, I'm excited. So thank you, Anthony. And this will all be taken care of within the next 6 weeks, and then we'll give it a whirl. Okay? We'll give it a swirl and a whirl. Let's give this a whirl again. Cheers to Jay. Oh boy. It's a sleeper. I think I said that last time. Excuse me. A lot of hops in this beer, and it's awesome. I love hops. When you drink a beer and it has a lot of hops in it, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I have, and my son has too. The combination of the hops, if it's a hoppy beer, and the alcohol, it gives you a different sort of buzz than if you're just drinking like vodka or something like that, or just a lawnmower beer. That was my impression of a lawnmower, by the way. But the hops really do give you a feeling. Of course, as you know, hops are related to cannabis. but they don't have the THC in them, so you don't get high off of them, but you do get a mellow feeling from them. And it's a nice combination when you drink a beer with a mellowing hop presence, and of course the alcohol, it does what alcohol does, makes you kind of tipsy. So that's why hobby beers are awesome. They taste great, and they also make you feel nice and relaxed. Good thing to have before you go to bed if you can't fall asleep very easily. I had a wonderful Christmas. I had spent time with my mom and my family. We had a nice, potluck dinner over at the hall, and had a lot of fun. Didn't meet anybody, but we all got together, and I saw my other two kids, Stephen and Brooke, who don't live around here. Well, Brooke does now, but Stephen doesn't. So it was awesome. I had a great time, and it was a nice Christmas for me. New Year's is going to be awesome. I'm not doing anything spectacular. What I am going to be doing is going on to Vaughn Live, and there's going to be a friend of mine's doing a live broadcast. This is what we do, right? We do our live broadcasts. But I do have a couple of things going on back here that aren't really that exciting, but I just will mention that I have two Cooper's kits going here. I got one which is a Ruby Porter, which is a nice beer. I've had it before. And these were sent to me by Marco, who sent me a whole bunch of Cooper's kits. I haven't had to buy anything, except for dry malt and stuff, for a while. So thank you, Marco. This has been awesome. And the other one I've got brewing here is a stout. I think it's a European. No, I can't remember. I got the can somewhere. Where did I put that? It's right here. Of course, it's all sticky. Irish stout. There it is. An Irish stout. That one's going to age a little bit in a carboy before we do anything to it, or in a keg. So there's what's going on there. So I got plenty of beer there. I got this going on here. And I also do have another wine kit and other things I'm going to be brewing. So I've said this, but I started with the simplest one. And as soon as I make some room here, I'll be brewing up the other stuff that I've got that have been sent in. So that's what's going on. Thank you, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great season, a great holiday season. I hope everybody's safe and, has a lot of fun. I hope everybody drinks good beer. And so I guess that's about it. I hope you guys are having a great week. And thank you so much for watching these videos. Please go to tgtshirts.com and buy a shirt. I don't think this one's for sale, but I know there's a couple other shirts around here that are, that are being sold, including that one. And I think there's something new coming up. I'm not sure. I have a note, but I don't know what's in the package yet, so I have to see. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, thank you so much. Brew that good beer. Happy New Year. Cheers. And 17. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. Cheers. Oh!